You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast.
You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. My name is Sean Wilkie, and along with my awesome co host, we interview the innovators in this space every week. Ivan, I'm excited to invite a friend and colleague back. Please get us started.
All right. Well, I'm excited to have a repeat offender on our podcast. Ali Viner was already before, and he has the new initiative. Ali is the co founder and chief veterinary technology officer at HelloVet. He is a veterinary surgeon and full stack software developer with significant experience and expertise in both sectors. He's working to bridge the gap between vets, pets, and technology, leveraging his experience in running both veterinary and software teams. Ollie spent 10 years in small animal general practice before transitioning to writing software and leading engineering teams for the next 6 years. Now he's focused on creating vet clinics where he would want his kids to work and his pets to be treated. That actually is a really, really cool way to put it. I'm building the work where they want them to work and my pets to attend. Ollie, this is a pleasure to have you back. Thank you for finding the time.
Thank you so much for having me. And I mean, I've just recently written an article in the UK Vet Press about exactly that, because my eldest daughter has hit 12 and has now seriously decided that she wants to become a vet. I mean, I'm a second generation vet anyway. And, so it really gets you thinking even more than I think I was already about, what you want the future of the profession to look like. And I guess this is an attempt to try and craft what the ideal clinic that I would want my daughter to work at. And likewise, when my own pets get sick, you want to take them to, somewhere you're going to get the best care. So, that's what I'd like to deliver.
So I'm going to throw a curveball in this. I don't remember who I was listening to recently on YouTube, but this person said that each generation is trying to make life easier for the next generation. And it was some famous, either like some athlete or someone, and he said that I drive a Mercedes, my son is going to be driving, Bentley, and then his son is going to not do that because then my son is going to be, make my grandson broke or something. It was like a cycle of how we are trying to optimize for our kids, and that makes our kids lazy. So do you think that by building a clinic that is all bells and whistles and easy to work in will make your daughter work for her so easy that she's not going to pass it along to the next generation?
It's a very good question. I think the challenge we've got currently is that we have created environments as a profession. I know obviously this is an international podcast, but in the UK, consolidation is really, really high. We're at sort of 60% plus. We've just created these environments that are so hard to work in that people can't thrive to their maximum potential, and clinicians just can't deliver the care that they want to do. So I guess I'm not trying to necessarily make it so easy that to make it such an easy ride. I think there's still challenges, but the right challenges, so that you're dealing with delivering the best care, the best customer experience, rather than dealing with bureaucracy, admin, the HR department.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. So let's step back and let's learn a little bit about what's unique, what's different. I mean, obviously, technology is at the cornerstone of your new venture. What's the innovation? What's cool? What are you doing?
Yeah, no, great question. I think we're looking at using the tech that we're building in a very, I guess, directly applicable way. Our North Star is to improve patient outcomes. So, I think it's very easy to talk about using and applying technology in veterinary clinics. It's very hard to do that in a good way that keeps clinical teams happy and engaged and viewing it as a positive, as well as to create better patient outcomes and get that engagement from customers without adding actually just more barriers and more hurdles to care. And then we've got things that we're doing on the physical side. So openness being one of our really core, values, and really bringing the pet owners in to be a part of their pet's care. Because I think there's been a trend over the years of clinics and clinicians shutting owners out of pets care, feeling that they get in the way of delivering really good care to owners, and kind of a frustration from both parties. And our approach to that is that, the best way to deal with it is to bring down the barriers, to be as open and transparent as possible, and really engage the pet owners. And that very much links to our tech strategy, which is to have really low barriers to people communicating with us, primarily through digital messaging platforms like WhatsApp, where they can speak to a vet nurse really straight away. There's pretty much no barrier at all to them going straight through to speaking to a vet nurse to get advice up front before appointments, and also after appointments and following those physical appointments. That really allows us to optimize that physical part of the journey so that we're delivering care to animals that really need it when they're physically in there on site, whilst being able to sometimes say to owners, actually, look, you maybe don't need to come in. We're definitely finding that that's actually a huge trust point. Actually, if you can say to an owner, look, do you know what, like, we're very happy to see you, but actually, we've seen a photo, we've seen a video, and I don't think you need a visit right now. And we can reassure the owners, improve trust, and we're definitely seeing some great outcomes from that. Reduce stress from pets having unnecessary visits as well.
Let me throw you a curveball. It's very sounds much that there's a flavor of VG in this.
Yeah.
And they kind of pioneered the space of transparent sort of, care and stuff like that. I have met a couple of veterinarians that worked in that environment, and they reported to be more burned out and stressed out from that. So while I understand the trust gain and the benefits of the transparency, are you seeing this as a positive to the vet teams? Because maybe I just met two people that are the only people in the entire 85 hospitals that they have right now. But are you hearing that feedback, and have you done enough research to see how would that reflect on our burnout and the people that work for us?
Yeah, it's another brilliant question. And to your point, yeah, the veg guys are a huge inspiration. I think what both the Davids have, been doing with veg is awesome. And, we've very much taken, aspects and inspiration from what others have been doing, but giving it very much, starting from the ground up with a UK centric, kind of focus to it. But I think that to your point there, it really is about, what we're doing and how we're delivering that care. But it's very early days. But we've had some great examples already with, I guess maybe if I take a step back and just explain one of the big parts that we do that's so open, is that we have pet owners stay with their pets for essentially whilst they're awake. So prior to and all the way up to anesthetic induction, and then they're with them again for recovery. Now, we're early in our journey. We've been open for less than 2 months, but we've already had these wonderful, wonderful interactions where the pets, I am convinced, and it's anecdotal at this stage, but I'd love to get some hard data, they recover faster. They are up, they are eating, they are ready to go. They go home within a few hours of entering the clinic. And we've had owners who've had massive fear factors around general anesthetics being hugely reassured by being a part of that process and a part of that journey. Now, in terms of the impact on the team, the reward that they get is that sense of value that they're delivering, and that the clients are reporting that, wow, I can't believe the job you guys have done. They're seeing them holding the animals, they're seeing them delivering the care, they're seeing, the essentially the care and attention that goes into delivering, veterinary medicine, which is hard. And also they're seeing the improvement in the outcomes of the patient. It is so rewarding to see an animal, who's just had teeth removed, half an hour later up with their owner, raring to go, having a meal. It is hugely satisfying to do it. Now, can I say that we can, do this fully at huge scale, and will there be any challenges on the team? I can't say that for sure yet. It is early days, but the initial indicators are super positive. And I think, as the veg guys have found, that demonstration of value and trust of being open generally far outweighs the negatives that you can get from it.
That's interesting. And I want to take us back to innovation and technology. And I think that's innovative in and of itself. But as a software engineer and a vet, what does the industry have wrong? And what are you guys doing at HelloVet that you think will change the way that we integrate technology into these practices? I mean, I think technology is blowing up right now in the vet industry like never before. And we've had tons of conversations, both, online and offline of this podcast. So I know you've got lots of thoughts, but I would be really interested to hear even what you think the future of vet med looks like, whether that's in your clinics or generally.
Yeah, so I think that the one of the challenges is that it's very easy to talk about technology. It's very easy for senior decision makers in any business to say, great, we're going to embrace AI, and a tool gets thrown in, and into a business, and it's not, you used a great word there, it's not integrated. The integration is what's key. It's how that fits in within the journey, and that really is on both sides. That's how the customers interact with things, so how the software is joined up, how data flows between different platforms and systems. And those same things are so relevant to clinic teams, because what has to happen is the processes have to become smoother and allow you to deliver better care, rather than just having another tool, another thing to use. And I know it's a little bit, kind of cliche to grab for these, wonderful examples, but it is sort of the Apple approach that we've looked at here, which is that, the best way of delivering the ultimate customer experience is to control the hardware and the software. So the hardware is those physical clinics and that direct care delivery, and the software element, we take off the shelf components and we join them together with lots of kind of smarts behind the scenes. And for me, the best tech that we deliver into the team is the tech that's invisible. It's the stuff that they don't even really have to think that they're using, but they just go about their day-to-day workflows, and they see the data that was on a communications tool appear in the EMR, right, in the clinical record on the practice management system. They know that when they price something up, that sends an invoice automatically to the client, and when it's paid, it all reconciles on the system. It's about those really consistent workflow wins. And I think that it's very easy sometimes as a profession for us to latch on to the really exciting things, like building apps and having, various AI tools that are kind of client facing, that don't always make life easier for everyone. Now, we use AI tools internally as well, and I think there's a huge space for those. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch where they develop to. But I think it's all about careful and considered application of those tools, rather than just kind of hoping you can drop something in that's going to solve a problem.
I after implementing, SmartFlow in 650 hospitals, I would say what really vets need to ask question about, not is it integrated with my other software, but is it integrated into my workflow? And that is, like, for example, recent development scribe tools. Like, there's so many of them, and those that are on the forefront, including Sean, that's the beauty of it, because Sean's is seamlessly dropped into the workflow and you can actually use it. That's, I think, is the key, more than like what data point transferred where, if the workflow is seamless. And that's the challenge with the scribe tools. This is ultimately what Sean and others are doing. I keep saying this not because Sean is my friend, but because literally one tool that changed my whole attitude towards vet medicine. I actually like doing it these days because I don't have to do the notes. The challenging part about it is that it's not a common thing. So I can't make all the vets in our clinics to use it, despite basically proven fact that they will stop writing medical records and it will give them 3 to 4 hours a day of free time and go home on time. I can't convince some of them to start using it. It's so simple. Take the phone with you, record it, it makes notes for you, go home. This is crazy, but they are not using it. So my question is, what is the technology that you're implementing? What is the tech stack, and what is HelloVet? Like, what is that technologically that you're introducing? Can you walk us through it so we can build a picture?
And then how the hell do you make them use it?
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant question. So to talk you through the tech stack at the moment, maybe it's better to talk through a customer journey. So for us, we want as low a barrier as possible for the customers to engage with us. So they use WhatsApp a lot of the time to send us messages. That goes through a third-party system, which was one that I helped to develop previously, called Digital Practice. And Digital Practice integrates with the practice management systems, and we have our nurses and our client care team on that the whole time, looking at messages and allocating them to individuals at any given point. Now, when they're looking to do, say, an action, as we talked about, say, a follow-up after a visit, we also have a Chrome extension that sits on top of the practice management system that allows them to create actions based off of to-dos and workflow boards that are all automated with practice management system actions. So a vet, for example, then sees that pet, they price up a visit. In the background, we create some to-dos in the background. Those to-dos then surface up on a workflow for a nurse who's doing digital work. They can then take that follow-up. We have an AI summarization tool that we've built, so they can take the clinical notes, put that into the AI tool. That generates a treatment plan. That treatment plan is then automatically sent to the owner via WhatsApp and via email, and then it generates another follow-up down the line, either automated or manual, based on that kind of nurse input. So we've had probably 2 or 3 minutes of nurse time to generate from a vet visit, to generate a follow-up, to generate a treatment plan, one that the owners can look at any point, and the owners not had to do anything different from their normal behavior. They've not had to download anything. They've not had to sign up to anything. They just get sent this to their email and to their mobile phone. And the vets have just gone about their normal workflow, which I think is a wonderful point that you made, Ivan, which is that how do you get vets to change their behavior? And you as well, Sean. And I think the answer is that you can't really. So you have to work around the behavior that they're doing and automate off the back of it. And we also have, I think quite a clever, I'm a little bit biased, quite a clever billing system that's based off of reusable components that allow us to trigger these automations so that we can do those things in the background, and the vets just do what they do, and the magic kind of happens in the background.
It's fascinating because it makes me think like, give me a pot of money, hire me 100 software developers, and I'll build the perfect tech stack for a veterinary hospital. And it doesn't seem like that's what you're doing. It seems like you're mashing together things that you've already built yourself, which is a pretty luxurious position to be in, and then finding other off-the-shelf components that will allow you to kind of integrate that client journey kind of start to finish and improve the experience and the outcome and the data along the way. Would that summarize what you're trying to accomplish?
I think it's a really, really good summary, because we also are refining our physical processes. And what we can't do is build too much technology up front until we really know exactly what they are. The whole point is this has to be joined up. So to your point, if I had 100 engineers now, I mean, I kind of like it, but really I wouldn't know what to do with them. And I think we would build a whole bunch of stuff that we ended up throwing out. So we are lean from an engineering standpoint, and we are very much, as you say, taking off-the-shelf components and we're gluing things together. But what that allows us for is we can kind of create these sort of automation recipes with our tech stack, the way we've built it through the workflows, so that we can just drop in bits of automation. So if we find that there are particularly time-consuming tasks that fit with our existing physical processes, we can identify those, put it in automation, and then see the benefits. But we don't want to build everything up front until we know what those pain points are, and where we can best automate, because I just think we wouldn't get the team to use them. We need them to use the tools they've got, identify the points that can really benefit from the tech, and then we build that around it.
Yeah, as a founder of a software company myself, there's no such thing as a perfect tool. You give 5 tools to 5 different people, and they're all going to like different ones. That's kind of standard. That's what happens. Where do you see HelloVet in 5 years? Like, when will you look back and say, we knocked it out of the park. We did exactly what I wanted to do. What's it look like?
We've got big, aspirations and ambitions, for what we want to do, but equally we know we've got to really dial in what we're doing currently. So, we have plans to expand. I would love it if we could be, nationwide in the UK, and that we had a recognizable brand that was the most trusted brand in the UK market. But we really got to get it right in our initial site. What we don't want to do is expand really, really quickly with imperfect processes, without really developing our culture, back to that sort of David Besler, point again about how important that is within the team and our systems and our tech. So we're really looking to refine that, and then we'll look to expand. And, I'm optimistic in that kind of 5-year point. How old's my daughter going to be then? 17, 18, when she's applying to vet school, that we've got, in the dozens of these clinics, and, she's well on her way to being able to come and work once we've really cracked it.
Excellent. Well, 2 questions we ask at the end. One of them is there YouTube, a podcast, TED Talk, or anything that inspired you that you would like to share here?
I think it's I don't know whether it counts as cheating for you guys, because I'm going back to one of yours, and he's appeared in others, but I don't want to come across as too much of a fanboy, but I'm very impressed with a lot of David Besler's, conversations he's had with you guys, I think a few years back, amongst others, about that importance of culture and openness. And that was a really big inspiration for us. I was really inspired to do what we were doing because of an experience with my own daughter going to hospital, and how she was treated and how different that was to how we treat pets. But equally, hearing the veg guys and what they'd done before and how they'd implemented it was hugely inspiring. So I would recommend that people listen to your back catalogue and find the Besler one and have a listen.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened. Thank you very much. We'll send the check in the mail. Last question. Another innovator that you think we should have on the show?
Yeah, I don't know whether he'd count himself as an innovator, but definitely a wonderful communicator is William Tancredi, who is an American vet who writes a lot about AI. He's kind of got a Substack and he writes on LinkedIn. Him and I have had a bunch of super fun conversations together. He is a full-time practicing vet and clinic owner, but he's got a really, really great interest in AI. Super articulate guy who does a really good job of explaining things practically and really tries to get vets, direct clinical vets engaging with tech tools, in particular AI. So I think he'd be a great addition to the podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. If you want to hear about our new episodes, please follow us on any social media channel. Also, you can check out our website at veterinaryinnovationpodcast.com. See you next week.